Why spend so much time talking about a day, a rest day? Days are days, and all the days are the same. Sunset to sunset, sunshine, rainfall, days are days. It seemed to be so. But look, we are made to understand that this day we talk about is of special importance, not only to humanity, but to the master of the universe. As a matter of fact, as we follow through, we were made to understand that he is the initiator of that special day of rest. Now, the day as such is not the important thing. It's the events of the day, the person of the day. Listen, now I need you to pay attention to that little bit. The person of the day. The person who calls the day into existence. The person who rested on the day. The person who set apart the day. The person who blessed the day. That's where we find the importance of the day we're talking about. Now, let's look at something. There is that given moment. A very, very important person in town would like to meet you at a given moment. That moment is special. If it's 10 o'clock, that 10 o'clock become very special. If you have to meet maybe for a month, at a certain place, I was doing a program for them and we would meet at 7:30 every Friday evening. Now, one person got it wrong at one time because there was a change in time in one place, and that person was there for 8:30. Then the program was finished. We were gone. The time didn't change. The time was there, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30. But the events of the moment, the individuals of the moment, they were there, they were gone, empty. This is what is happening with that special day we talk about. A special, very special, the most special being of the universe established that day. Some people say for Israel. No, not just for Israel, for humanity, according to Genesis chapter 2. For the writer, whether it be late writer, early writer, later writer, when the event is going on, and according to some people, Moses was not there, but according to how it was handed down from generation to generation, Moses captured it and he put it in writing so that people would understand what was taking place then. And that's the importance of all we are going through. When we work through the Pentateuch about a rest day, we are looking back. Some people say the Pentateuchal writing took place later than Israel's existence. They were looking back. Yes, if they were even looking back, they are saying that's what was happening then. When we get to the prophetic writing, we discover the same thing. They are looking back at what was happening then, and they are interpreting emphasizing what was happening. And throughout the Bible, we're working with the Old Testament now, we find great emphasis placed on that special rest day. And we find that it to be something special, the originator, the why of it, and what you get out of it. Just about every section, there is a promise, blessing for those who would take the time to meet with the Master of the universe at that given time. Not only that, we find that those who choose not to meet with the Master of the universe at that given time, for them there was a special curse. And it was at the cost of life for some people who choose not to meet the Master of the universe at that given moment. When we get to the prophets, that's what we're working with at this moment. When we get to the prophets, major prophet, minor prophet, we discover that they were aware of that rest day. They were aware that the Master designed that his people meet with him on that given rest day. When we talk about the rest, we will develop that some more when we come to another program. But when we talk about rest, we're not just talking about stretching out in the beach or in your hammock or in your bed or whatever it is. We're talking about a sort of withdrawal from the everyday, the 1 to 6 day, and meeting. You meet materially, you meet intellectually, you meet socially, you meet spiritually, and you meet physically with the divine and with your fellow steward. And in that meeting, the major focus is to remind ourselves that the Master of the universe is a causal factor for all existence in the universe. Now, if we miss that point, we're missing just about everything Bible is telling us about. For that is the attraction. That is what it is getting us. That is why we have the 7th-day rest, so that we might remember. Not just a mental remembrance, but it comes to our mind. It is there. We focus on it, and it is helping us to be linked to the Master of the universe. That is the rest day. Not just to sleep and slumber. Great peace of they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. We get into that day of fellowship so that the presence of the Almighty can minimize and take away the traumatic, the everything that was cause upset, and help us to understand that we are worthwhile human beings. So yes, let's go to some of the prophets and see how they look at this rest day. We're going to start with the book of Isaiah. Isaiah's got quite a bit to say about that Sabbath rest. And mark you, they're doing the same thing like was done the Pentateuch and the historical books. They are pointing out that there are many Sabbaths. You have the ceremonial Sabbath and so on. But you will find that there is special emphasis for the seventh day Sabbath. The others, they were counted as very worthwhile, very important, because again, they are trying to get the people to in harmony with the divine, with one another, with nature. So they were important, but the great importance, the focus, the great emphasis was on the seventh day Sabbath, the seventh day rest day. And so Isaiah called attention to the seventh day. Listen now, Isaiah 56 and verse 4. Hear what Isaiah is saying. Blessed is the man who does this, that is, come apart on the Sabbath, the seventh day, and the Son of Man who lays hold on it, who keeps from defiling the Sabbath and keep his hands from doing any evil. So the Sabbath was important in Isaiah's ministry. Yes, very, very important. And Isaiah gave another passage that we must not miss, and that is found in Isaiah 58. I'm going to take the little time to read the one for you. Isaiah 58. We're going to look at verses 13 to 14, 13 and 14. Isaiah 58, verses 13 and 14. I know that some people will run away and begin to say we use the Bible too much, but it is of great importance to us, for this is what we work, from which we draw most of our thinking. And so it's important for us to look at it. Isaiah 58, 13 and 14. Let me go through this with you. Yes, 58. 13 and 14. Hear Isaiah's message on the Sabbath, the rest day, the seventh day rest day. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken this. That's how Isaiah emphasized the Sabbath rest. If you can begin to not totally forget self, but allow self to be aligned to the master of the universe, and you see yourself according to the priority list. The master of the universe is all important, and you come to relate to him. As it were, you're linking into the source of life, the source of wisdom, the source of strength. It's not just that the Lord is just pouring out blessing on this one, that one. It is that you're linked into the source and you're experiencing that which flows from the source, and that to a large extent happens on the seventh day. Ask me if the other days you don't have blessing. Ask me if the other days you're not linked with the Master of the universe. Yes, every day belongs to Him. He's with you every day. But He Himself asks for that special meeting, that special togetherness, that special reminder moment. That's why Isaiah says this is of great importance. Now, we remind ourselves already, the emphasis is here for the Israelites, yes, because the history of salvation is trekking through that nation. But the Sabbath was before them. And dare I say, the Sabbath was after them. Blessing from the Lord. Because the moment when you meet with the divine, if you are working at any place, you're in employment at a given place, and the boss asks that you meet him or her at a given moment, just about all of us, we memorize the moment. 10 o'clock on Tuesday, meet with me in my office, 10 o'clock, and it's there. And everything you do begin to shape around that. And you meet at 10 o'clock on that given day. If you go the day before, the boss will look up at you and say, why are you here? Go the day after, you begin to think that you begin to see disrespectfulness in you. And that which you want to see about might be confirmed or might be annulled. The prophets were aware of this special rest day, and they were trying to get Israel to fall in line with what was meant to be universal. So no, Isaiah, we have seen how Isaiah treated the Sabbath, how Isaiah put effort by to get Israel to relate right to the Master of the universe, to one another, and to, as it were, make their existence worthwhile existence in the universe at that time in history. When we get over to Ezekiel, we discover that Ezekiel is also putting emphasis on the seventh day of rest. Yes. Ezekiel is also looking at the many, many different Sabbaths. Sometimes he ties them together and to show that the Sabbath, with the S at the end, they were holy unto the Lord. But again, we find that emphasis is on the seventh day. We get to Ezekiel 20. And there it's, the Sabbath was given to be a sign. Yes, I know I've jumped over Jeremiah. We'll come back to him. But Ezekiel was saying the Sabbath was for a sign so that they may understand more. A sign that the master of the universe is in a covenant relationship with his people. And that, bear in mind, that sign is speaking a lot to us. That's Ezekiel emphasis. When we get back to Jeremiah, Jeremiah calls attention in a strong way. Let's work on that one. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah and see what he's saying there. Jeremiah chapter 17. Jeremiah 17. And we're going to be looking from verse 19. And I'm going to take a little time to read that for you. And I hope I'm not losing many of you. You're patiently going through because it is so important. Jeremiah 17. Let's look from verse 19. Thus said the Lord unto me, go and stand in the gate of the children of Israel. Let me see now. Did we get it right? Jeremiah 17, 19. Yes. Children of Israel, whereby, let me start again. Thus said the Lord unto me, go and stand in the gate of the children of Israel, of the people, whereby the kings of Judah come in, and by the which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem, and say unto them, hear the word of the Lord, ye kings of Judah, and all Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem that enter in by this place. Thus saith the Lord, take heed to yourself, and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem, neither carry forth burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day, neither do any work, but hallow ye the Sabbath day, as I commanded your father. Jeremiah seemed to be summarizing the whole thing in a very emphatic and masterly way that none can afford to miss. He's saying, I'm speaking to the kings of Judah. I'm speaking to the people of Judah. I'm speaking to the people of Jerusalem. The Sabbath is important. It is set apart. And let me tell you something. There are some people who assume that those who worship on the Sabbath then call attention to the Sabbath day, they are legalistic. Be legalism far from the people who are obedient to the master of the universe. You see, the people who worship on the seventh day, like Israel there, they were in submission to the master of the universe. He is creator. He's the causal factor. He's the one who caused them to be there. He's the one who took them out of the land of Egypt. And he's asking for a moment with them. So it's not that we're afraid of him. It's not that legalism has taken over. It's obedience, having the right relationship with the one who is able. Yes, when you get down to the minor prophets, they did not say quite a lot. Hosea called attention to the Sabbath, and he was mentioning all the Sabbaths again. Amos chapters 8 and verse 5, he called attention to the Sabbath day of rest. So we find that throughout the prophet, we can find much to justify the idea of a Sabbath originated by the master of the universe, a Sabbath interpreted, emphasized, and declared in the Pentateuch. Sabbath, which to the people during the historical period, according to scripture, was important to them. Now the prophets, some of them around the same time, they were saying the Sabbath is important. By the way, when you work through, you discover that one of the reasons why Israel was not getting some of the blessings promised to them was their approach to the Sabbath. They start to treat it lightly, and they begin to experience hardship, deportation, and death. The Sabbath, the seventh day, rest day, was very, very important for the Israelite. And we will continue to look at that Sabbath rest. As good stewards, we want to understand if it is passed on further and to see how we relate to that seventh day rest. Be wise and prosper today. And if you have gained a little blessing or some blessing, or it caused you to be thinking a little more, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video. Have a blessed day.